Good morning, Christine Dobson here with another moment in ministry. Now today, I figured that I would do something just a little bit different because instead of being in front of the camera, I am actually behind the camera because I wanted to take you on a tour to somewhere that is near and dear to my heart. This is where we hold ministry. Now, as I go around the room, you are going to notice that this is not your typical church. There is no row seating. There are no pews. And even if you look in the pulpit, there's no furniture behind the podium. But it was our desire to set things up just a little bit different, because we wanted a more relaxed atmosphere so that people, if they wanted to converse back and forth with us about the word, they would feel comfortable doing it in a more relaxed atmosphere. If they wanted to jot something down, they will also be able to do that as well with ease. You'll also notice that today is not one of our ministry days, because the church is empty. There is no one occupying the seats. The musician is not on his post, and there is no one behind the podium. Because I have something that I wanted to share with you today. This is not the church. That's right. You've heard me correct. The church is actually a body of believers. In other words, the church is us. Every day when you wake up, you are preaching a sermon. Every day when you converse with your spouse, you're preaching. When you talk to your children, you're preaching. When you walk down the street, you're preaching. When you're in the market, you're preaching. When you interact with your brothers and your sisters outside, you are preaching. What does your sermon say? What does your sermon say about you? What did you preach last night? Where did you go? What did you do? How well did you convey the message of the Most High? Because that's what preaching is all about. And understand that church doesn't begin when you walk into this building and someone is behind the podium and talking in the microphone, or a drummer playing drums, or a keyboardist playing some keys. Oh no, to the contrary. The church begins when the building is empty and its inhabitants are out in the world getting the message out. But it's important for us to think about the messages that we are putting out. What message are you saying as a representation of the Most High God? Can people get a good example from you? Because your life and the life you live is the greatest sermon that you will ever preach. I tell people all the time, my greatest sermons are not behind this podium. My greatest sermons are preached on Mondays, on Tuesday nights, on Wednesday mornings, on Thursdays during the day, because that's the life that I'm living to show forth the example of what I know of the Most High. How well is your sermon? Can people get a good example of what the Most High is like, what the Most High would say, what the Most High would do because of you? Are you one that doesn't divulge and go out and do a lot of things that you're not supposed to do? Are you one that don't dip and dabble into sin? Do you have one foot in the church and one foot out? What are you preaching? What are you saying? Are you a drunk? Are you one that takes in a lot of drinks, a lot of alcohol? Do you get high? Do you do drugs? Do you jump from bed to bed? Do you commit adultery? What is your sermon that you are preaching on a day-to-day basis? Is it something that someone will look at you and say, hey, I don't know what it is about that person, but I need what they got? Can God depend on you to do a sermon that will bring him glory and not disgrace his word? I ask you one question today. Even though this building is not occupied, what are you preaching when you're out in the street? Oh, church, where art thou?